Hello and welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we're going to be taking a look at a puzzle called Counting Reflections by Jolly Rogers. And this has been recommended to us a few times actually. Apparently it's a very, very clever puzzle, and it's got quite a simple rule set. All of the grey lines are palindromes, and if you put a digit on a grey line, it says how many times that digit appears on all the grey lines. We'll do the rules properly in a moment or two, but that is an intriguing rule straight off the bat. It's got 4 stars out of 5 for difficulty over on Logic Master, so it's probably fairly challenging. I don't know whether it'll be as challenging as yesterday's puzzle. Here it was, Entangled by the Great Fistamafel. Do have a look at that if you haven't had a look at it. I think it's amazing, really amazing. Sort of almost a new logical discovery. So that was yesterday's fair, but today we're going to be having a look at this one, and I will read you the rules properly in a moment or two's time. I've got some things to tell you about before we kick off and do the solving. The first is that at 10 o'clock tonight UK time, Mark and I are going to be streaming again as Maverick flies over. That didn't take very long, 1 minute before we get visited by the dreaded aeroplane. I'm sorry about the aeroplane noise, but he's obviously in the skies early today. Anyway, we're going to be streaming more Blueprints, another visit to the Blueprints mansion. That does seem to be what people wanted to watch when we had a poll last week. So do join us if you're free. It's normally quite chill and a lot of fun. Now, what else? Well, we are closing in, aren't we, on the 1st of October. And on the 1st of October, we have got a really amazing competition starting. It's from the Skunkworks. You can see here, it's 68 puzzles. These are all sort of bite-sized 5x5 puzzles by, I think, 70 different authors. And, I mean, it's just fantastic. You'll recognise many of the authors' names as I sort of scroll down here. But this is going live at 4 PM UK time on the 1st of October. The competition will run until the 20th of October, and the prize, as usual recently, will be the chance to solve a puzzle with me, and we'll record it, and hopefully it'll become a video. And I've just finished editing my video with Michael, who was last month's winner, and I've just sent that off to him, so I'm hoping that will appear on the channel at some point this week, so look out for that. We do an amazing puzzle by Cactus Love called Giza. What else? Birthdays. I've got my birthdays to do. Let's do, well, not my birthday, but other birthdays to do. Let's do the birthdays. Shreya, your friend Varun wrote to us, and I think I said this the other way around just a day or so ago, but I think it's your birthday today. You've been watching since COVID, and he is intending to visit you, and I think you're in LA, but he does say if you visit him in San Francisco, then he will deliver the chocolate cake when you arrive, and it will have plenty of icing. So that does sound like a good offer for you as well, Shreya. I hope you have a great birthday today. I've done the drive actually from, I think I went from San Francisco to LA rather than from LA to San Francisco. What a bit of coastline that is. Just a fantastic thing to do. It's a few years now since I did it, but yeah, I think that could be an excuse for a trip as well. Next, we will shift across the ocean and go to Kiev, or Kyiv, I suppose. It's more likely Kyiv nowadays, isn't it? It always used to be Kiev when I was young. Where Alexei, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, Alexei, it's your birthday, and I know this because your wife Lilia wrote to us from a sunny but chilly Kyiv. I do hope you're able to stay safe at the moment there. And Alexei, I hope you have a brilliant birthday. I hope you get some chocolate cake, and I hope it is very well iced. Next birthday, we're going all around the world today. We're now going to the Netherlands, where Sylvester, it's your birthday. And I know this because your girlfriend, is it Laura? It looks like, it could be Laura, but I think I'm going to go with Laura, wrote to me and said, could we wish you a happy birthday? I think she's moved to France recently, so the two of you may not be together today, but she was very keen that I wish you a happy birthday. So Sylvester, I hope you have a great birthday today. I hope the chocolate cake is good, and I hope the two of you get together very soon. Next, Zach, it's your birthday. I don't know where you are, Zach, but your girlfriend Kaylee wrote to me and said it would mean a lot to you, perhaps, and also to her if I could wish you a happy birthday. That's very easy to do. Happy birthday, Zach. I hope the chocolate cake is good, of course. And then finally, we're going to go down to New Zealand, where young Jane, it's your birthday. And I know this because your cousin Malachi wrote to us and told me that I think you're having a chocolate cake in the shape of a tractor. That is great. That's almost every chocolate cake should be in the shape of a tractor, especially a life-size tractor. But Jane, I hope you have a brilliant birthday today. Many happy returns, and thank you for even being aware of the channel. Now, that's all the news. Let's have a look at Counting Reflections by Jolly Rogers. The rules are as follows. I've sort of read them already, but we'll do them technically. Normal Sudoku rules apply. So we have to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Palindromes. All lines in the grid are palindromes, where the order of digits along a line reads the same forwards and backwards. A small dot indicates the central cell of its line. So that is the center of this palindrome. So if this was a 1, you know, a palindrome could read something like that, because if we start at this end, it would read 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And obviously if we start at this end, it reads exactly the same, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is how palindromes work. And then we've got this counting rule where it says a digit on a line indicates how many times that digit appears across all lines in the puzzle. E.g., if 5 appears on a line, it must appear 5 times on lines. That's all the rules. That's all we've got to do. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And we've got an enormous palindrome there, haven't we? Probably that's what we're going to have to start with. We're going to have to add up how many line cells there are, because we're going to have to populate those line cells with digits that add up to the number of line cells we've got. So let's do that quickly. Well, probably slowly actually. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Actually, I've just thought I could do it. If I can trust that this is the center of the line, let's do it differently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right, so there's going to be 12 the other side. So that's 24. So this line has 25. That line's got 3, so that's 28. That line's got 7, so that's 35. We've done that one. That's another 5, that's 40. And that's another 5, so that's 45. Okay, so that looks deliberate. I'm just going to double check the length of this one again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, okay. So 25, 32, 35, and 2 lots of 5, 45. Okay, the reason I was double checking that is if you get a circles count wrong, you're dead. You won't get anything. You won't get anywhere. You'll just go down rabbit holes that won't work. But 45 is a super interesting number that I find fascinating. And yes, I know. But why is 45 so interesting? Well, it's all based upon a secret, isn't it? And a secret I share with only my very favourite people. And of course, don't worry, if you're watching this video, you're definitely one of my favourite people, and I will share the secret with you. The secret of Sudoku is that the digits in any one box of a Sudoku, indeed any one row of a Sudoku, any one column of a Sudoku, because of the rules of Sudoku, this column contains the digits 1 to 9 once each. And if we add up those digits, we get 45. We get the same number of cells there are on lines in this puzzle. And that's got to be important, doesn't it? Because imagine, well, let's think about how this would work. Let's imagine this cell was an 8. What's that telling us? That's immediately telling us, because of the rules, that there are 8 8s on lines. So if we put a 7 on a line, there are going to be 7 7s on lines. etc. So what is the maximum number of digits we could have on lines? We could have 9 nines, 8 eights, 7 sevens, 6 sixes, 5 fives, 4 fours, 3 threes, 2 twos, and a 1. And that all adds up like the 12 days of Christmas. Well, not like the 12 days of Christmas, in fact, but to 45, because that's the sum of the digits 1 to 9. So we can't put 9 eights, for example, on lines. It's impossible. It would be against the rules. The maximum number of eights is going to be 8. So we are looking at one of every digit. No, we're looking at every digit appearing on lines, its number of times. So there are going to be 9 nines on lines, 8 eights, etc. Now, well, that immediately makes me want to think about nines more, because what that means is a Sudoku only contains 9 nines, obviously. There's going to be 1 in each box. But every single 9 in the puzzle is on a line, so that in that box, for example, we now know that one of those 3 cells must be a 9, because it must be lined. It's sort of symmetrical there, isn't it? One of those 3 must be a 9. And of course, if one of these was a 9, we'd get a palindrome 9 as well. No. If that's a 9, that would be a 9. One of these would be a 9. Actually, I don't think it's going to be desperately easy to do that, is it? And how, that's quite an interesting thought. Oh yeah, okay, sorry, there is an obvious point here that had completely eluded me until about a moment ago. Right. We don't want to, well, we might have to think about 9s, but what we do want to think about is the centres, isn't it, of the palindromes? Because I think we know something about those. Because let's ask the question, how are we ever going to achieve an odd number of digits on any of these palindromes? The only way of achieving an odd number of digits on a palindrome, so say 5 fives, for example, is if a 5 appears in the middle of a palindrome. Because whenever 5 doesn't appear in the middle of a palindrome, it is going to have a twin on the other side of the palindrome, isn't it? So it's going to appear an even number of times every time it isn't in the centre of a palindrome. And yet 5 must appear an odd number of times. Now that logic flows for all odd numbers. So in order to have an odd number of 9s, 9 must appear in a centre of a palindrome. Now there are 5 odd numbers in Sudoku, and that, I think, must be why we have five centres of palindromes. They are odd numbers. I really like that they are odd numbers. Not only that, they are all different. Because imagine they were both 5s, for example. There's then no way we could fulfill the odd criteria for one of the other odd numbers. It simply would be impossible. It would only appear an even number of times on lines. So these are all different digits. I'm actually wondering now if it's not about 9s at all. Is it about 1s then? Because one of these is a 1, and the one, whichever one of those is a 1, that's going to be the only time 1 appears on a line in the puzzle. Yes, oh, no, maybe not then. So I was going to say 1 in this box is in one of 2 places. It's either exactly there, if 1 is in any of those cells, then in box 4 it would have to appear off a line. It would have to be here. But 1 could be that one, and that would be its only appearance on a line. Yeah, that's a bit weird. Okay, so this cell is never a 1. Because if this was a 1, you couldn't put 1 at all in box 4. It would be impossible, because it would have appeared on the line, this line, so it couldn't appear there, and it couldn't appear there by Sudoku, and that would obviate all possible positions for ones in box 4. This is this is really interesting. So on the enormous 25 cell line, 1 is never appearing in any of these cells. So yeah, in fact, okay, 1 in box 8 is a bit restricted. Nearly. 1 in box 2 is even more restricted, 1 of 2 places. Oh no, I was nearly thinking 1 in... No, that's 1 in column 2 is a bit restricted. It's either there or those in one of those 2. That's not an easy pencil mark to make, though. What about 1? Oh no, I was going to say 1 in row 3, but that's a circle. So actually it's got 3 places. I don't know then. Okay, so maybe it's not 1s. So how are you meant to do this? I'm not sure. Okay, I don't think it's 1s. I just don't think there's enough. I just don't think there's enough real estate covered by lines in boxes like this for there to be any meaningful restriction, or that one, for example. Okay, so it must be 9s. It can't be any other digit, can it? In an odd way, 7s are likely to be more restricted than 8s, because although there are 8 8s on lines, you never get an 8 in a centre of a line. And there is going to be 1 8 that's not on a line at all and could go anywhere that's unlined. Now, it must be 9s. It must be 9s. There must be a way of doing 9s somehow. So where have I missed the trick there? I mean, I don't know. Is it? Okay. 9 in box 5 has to be on a line. So there are only 3. I might use colour to do this, actually. I'm almost wondering... No, it might. Should we do it with colour or not? I'm not sure. I might actually just. I might do it by colour. Let's do it by colour. I've been having to be quite chromatic recently in some of the souls we've done. Not yesterday so much, but right. Let's make all of those orange. There we go. Now they are the only positions for 9s in the puzzle live in the orange cells. Now, can we rule out how are we going to rule anything out then? Sorry if this is obvious to everybody. It's definitely not obvious to me. I mean, I can see that in column 9 there is a 9 on the line here. Now that's on the long palindrome. So on the last 4 cells of it. So one of those digits has to be a 9, which is nearly interesting. So I was going to say that means that isn't a 9, but it's not orange, so we already knew that. If that was a 9, that would be a 9. I don't know. Okay, I've failed to come up with the right way to think about this, haven't I? What about... Is there some way I know which of these is a 9? Very unlikely, I would say, but I don't know. if... Why have I... Oh, I see. I've got 9. Yeah, I can get rid of the corner pencil mark 9s now. They don't mean anything. They don't mean anything over and above the context of orange, do they? So if... I don't know. I'm really struggling here. I'm sorry about this. All right, let's try column 1. There are 4 9s. Well, there aren't. There are 4 cells there, one of which must have a 9. Now on the palindrome, they are those 4 cells. So there is definitely a 9 in one of those. But again, is there a... Well, okay, okay, that is a small point. That is a small win for the goodies, isn't it? I mean, it's a tiny win for the goodies, but I'll take anything. So because there is a 9 in one of those, there is, I'm going to claim a 9 in one of those on the palindrome, because the equivalent of those cells is, I think, these cells. Now that means this can't be a 9, because that would prevent one of those from being a 9 and prevent us from having a lined 9 in column 1. So I think what that means, so let's get rid of the green. That and that are therefore removed from orange. I mean, it's a tiny, tiny win. Let's just check there are no other cells that we can use that logic for. I got rid of a 9 from here as well. So okay, so the 9 in row 5 is getting more restricted. Can that be a 9? That is the 3rd cell from the ender, so that would make this a 9 if those 2 are 9s. So that would put a 9 in one of those 2 in box 5, because there must be a circled 9. This couldn't be a circled 9 in box 8, because that would transplant here and duplicate. So one of those would be a 9, which is the equivalent of well, 2nd and 3rd, one of those. That's rotten. Okay. So, I don't know, one of those would be a 9. Oh, and it couldn't actually be this one, because that would transplant here. That's interesting. Ah, okay. So that would mean that we'd found the 9 that was in the circle. So that couldn't be a 9. So 9 would be in one of those 2 positions. Oh, and it would be on that palindrome, so in fact we would know it would be here. So 9 would be there in box 1, and 9 would have to be here in box 7, because it needs to be on a line. That's on a palindrome. See, the thing is, this looks like it's working to me. So I think you get that disposition of 9s. And that was if this was a 9, wasn't it? So the alternative would be to try and disprove all 3 of these, which is a horrible task. I don't want to do that. I'm scared of doing that. That feels difficult. All right, let's try. How should we do? So putting a 9 there seems to put a 9 there, which I suspect might work. So what else could we do? If... It's hard for me, at least, to see where the weak point is in this puzzle. There's probably one stretch of palindrome which is genuinely going to be tricky. But where? Where is that stretch? If that's a 9, something I observe there is that there must be a 9 in one of those 2, which means there must be a 9 in one of those 2. Oh, that's easy. That's actually that's by far the most straightforward deduction I've seen so far. That is not a 9, because where do you put a line 9 in box 3? It would have to be in this cell, and I'd get 2 circled 9s, and that can't be right, because we know we need different odd digits. So there we go. That is a win. Well, not only is it not 9, it's no longer orange. So orange is in one of 4 places, which are all on the big palindrome. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. So one of those cells is definitely is definitely a 9. Now, I mean, what do you do with that? I don't know. I mean, is that clear what I'm supposed to do with that? So sorry, we're saying that I'm saying one of those is a 9. So if either of those was a 9, that would have to be a 9, I think. Oh, that would make that have to be a 9 as well, which is mildly interesting. So we'd get 9s. We would get a few 9. Oh, that would be a 9. So that wouldn't be. What's the equivalent of that? That's the fourth that one is a 9, which means, oh, that doesn't work. Oh, that's tricky. Wow. Yeah, okay. So the simple way of seeing that is to say if either of these is a 9, because it plonks a 9 here and that plonks a 9 here, you get an enormous problem. So we're saying start with a 9 in one of these, that plonks a 9 here, which by palindrome plonks a 9 here, and now the 9 in box 5 has to be here because it's got to be lined, but that reflects around its little palindrome to there. We get 2 9s in box 4, so that's a win for the goodies as well. Oh no, I want to just get rid of my greens. I'm going to get rid of my greens. Those both are not orange anymore, so those equivalents of those are not orange anymore. Now, oh, please tell me that's done something. Okay. Well, it didn't really seem to do very much, but never mind. Never mind. I think this is at least a way of tackling the puzzle, isn't it? It's not simple, at least not for me. And you guys may be spotting places where I'm being a bit slow. I know that one of these is a 9. I know it. So if that was a 9, that would have to be a 9, and that's that cell, isn't it? Which might be fine. He says, I'm trying to see what that might mean. I think it means that's a 9. Oh no, okay, that doesn't work. Okay, again, you have to sort of play it through in your brain and really think about it. But the fact that one of these is a 9, because we need a 9 in column 9, means that if this is a 9, that's forced to be a 9, which forces this to be a 9, which forces this to be a 9, but that transplants on its palindrome back to there, and we get 2 9s in box 2. Ergo, that is not a 9. Actually, that's probably not going to be very handy. I mean, I know one of those is a 9 as well. And they reverse 1, 2, 3. Oh, no. No, it means one of those. I don't like it when I got a 9 across a box border, which is what these 3, I think, equate to. Unfortunately. It could be that one, maybe. Just I'm seeing that if this is a 9, obviously that's a 9, because we must retain our orangification, which would make that a 9. This would be the equivalent of that. Does that break for some reason? What's the equivalent of... No, that's that one. So neither of these would now be a 9. And they have an impact on this box, I think. Oh, in fact, that one not being able to be a 9 is actually the equivalent, isn't it, of that cell. So that's some... so now in row 7 I have got a pretty limited coterie of cells that could be the 9. Or is there another row or column? Can that be a 9? Otherwise there'd be a 9 down there. That would be helpful. If that's a 9, that's a 9. By palindrome rather than a... Oh, that would make that a 9. That would make this a 9. That would make this a 9. Oh, that doesn't work. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, but it's cool. So if this was a 9, let's go through it again. You can see by palindrome that becomes a 9. By the fact there has to be a line 9 in box 1, that becomes a 9. That, now where did this go wrong? Well, this cell, 1, 2, 3, is the equivalent of this cell, I think. Yeah, that seems right. And now you can't put a 9 in that box at all. I don't think I quite did it like that before. I think I found that this was a 9, didn't I? Yeah, so I got a 9 here somehow. I don't know, but everything I've said there is still true. And there's definitely no possibility of a 9 going in box 5. So that all started with this being a 9. So that is not a 9, which means this is not a 9. Now, surely this is where we look. There is definitely a 9 in this domino, which are positions 6 and 7 from the end. So there is definitely a 9 in that domino. This domino. This is not a 9 now. It can't be. There is a 9 in one of those, so that is not a 9, which has a palindromic equivalent to there. Oh, I really like this. I mean, I'm not finding it easy at all, but the fact there's a 9 here means this is not a 9. And didn't we say that one of those had to be a 9? I think we did. But also, what's the equivalent of that digit? It's that digit, so that's no longer a 9. But the fact there is a 9 in one of those, because we need a 9 in one of these to have a line 9 in column 9, means this is not a 9, which means that is not a 9. Now, what on earth does that mean? 9 is getting very hard to place in... Oh, where's 9 in row 1? It's got to be in one of these two, so it can't be there. That loses its 9ification. And that is the second, so this loses its 9ification. 9 is in one of 2 places. One of 2 places. Okay. It's only got 2 possible positions in box. Oh, and I thought that one might be correct, didn't I? And the reason was when we traced it through, it seemed to work. Okay, so... So this is probably correct, is what I suspect. So, I mean, is there a way of concluding this can't be a 9 for some reason? I mean, if this is a 9, the 9 in column 3 is in... Oh, the 9 in... Oh, that's easy. Oh, I didn't spot this. Right, this can't be a 9. Because you can't put 9 in this column. It's got to be oranged. If this is a 9, you can't repeat 9 in the circles. It can't go in its own row. And if it was there, it would just get transplanted here and be in its own row again. So that is not a 9. So the 9, oh, it's not great, but the 9's in one of those positions now, and that's certainly not orange. Which almost, look, lets us place 9 in this column. Okay, what's the equivalent of that digit? That's the 4th digit, which is that cell. So we get 9s in those 2 positions, which would put... Oh, that doesn't work. Oh, it is getting easier. It is getting easier now, because there are so few positions left for 9s all around the world. So what I'm saying is, I'm looking at column 6. I've noticed there are 2 positions for 9s, but this one, I think, 1 is the 4th position from the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It would put a 9 here. And those 9s don't work, because where are we putting the 9 in the middle box? There. On the palindrome, that then reverses to here, and we get 2 9s. So that cannot be orange. Now, where is the 9 in column 6? It is there. That is forced, which means we can, well, many things that's going to do. Firstly, along the palindrome, in fact, yeah, that's now not, where's 9 in column 6? I mean, this is going to do everything. Maybe not the whole puzzle, but a lot. This is now a 9. On the palindrome, this is a 9. So this is definitely not a 9, and all of these are not orange. 9 is in one of those cells, so 9 is definitely here now. Yeah, and we need a 9 in a circle, otherwise we can't do it. We can't create an odd number of 9s. That seems to be the only place. So that's a 9. And 9 is in one of these two positions, so that's definitely not orange, that's definitely not orange, that's definitely not orange. Can unorangify these, unorangify this one, and okay. Oh, but oh, these are equivalent to digits we've already got. So we can do this. Yeah, that one, oh, careful, Simon. That's the second position, which is that one. So that gets unwound in that order, is how it works. And there we go. All your 9s are done. That was not straightforward at all. At all. But we've got off and running. And now, do we look at 8s or do we look at 7s? I wasn't sure. I was thinking about that earlier. I mean, 7s... I do know that one of these is definitely a 7. But there are going to be 2 cells, aren't there? Or 2 boxes, or 2 columns or rows that don't contain 7. So that feels like it's introducing unpleasant flexibility. Let's try 8s. Let's try 8s. No, okay, I'm definitely trying 8s, actually. Because if that's not an 8... then this box doesn't have a lined 8, and every other box would have to have a lined 8. So, okay, so it might not be as bad as I was expecting. Let's use a different colour for where 8s could go, in theory at least. In theory at least, I think those are the lined positions. Now, so again, it's quite difficult to put an 8 into this box, isn't it? No, okay, I've got something straightforward here. That one's a problem. When I say straightforward, I don't mean straightforward at all, but I've seen something. Right, if that's an 8, then I'm going to claim this is an 8. By palindrome, I'm going to claim, well, no, okay, this is tricky actually. Okay, I am going to claim that the unlined 8 is either in box 4, box 5, box 6, or box 8. Because if there were lined 8s in box 4, 5, 6, and 8, the puzzle could not work. And this is what I've noticed. Because if that would make this have to be an 8, and by palindrome that would put an 8 here, and there would be 2 8s in column 4. So this is clearly not possible. So it is not possible that there is a lined 8 in boxes 4, 5, 6, and 8. Therefore, one of those boxes must contain the only example in the puzzle of an unlined 8. Now, therefore, every other box in the puzzle has a lined 8, and that places 8 here. I mean, that must be right, mustn't it? And that's on the that's what I was about to say. That was the middle of the palindrome. That's total. Oh, yeah, okay. So now by palindrome, this is an 8. which is correct. And now this can't be an 8. So that can't be an 8. And we know this is the box that has the unlined 8 in it. Now we can get rid of, so every other box apart from box 5 has to have a lined 8, and now we can start placing them. So that's a lined 8. That is there on the palindrome. There's got to be an 8 in one of these. I mean, it would be quite, oh, there must be an 8 in this box, so that's got to be there. And that's on a palindrome, so it's got to be one here. I mean, it's going to be... Okay, so the 8 in the middle box is in one of 2 places, I'm going to claim now, by Sudoku, not by lines. Yeah, and there has to be a lined 8 in box 9, so that's there, which is just before that 9, which is the equivalent of that 9, so that must be an 8, that must be an 8. So unlike most puzzles, we've got an 8 in the middle of the puzzle, and they are all of the 8s. So all of the 8s are done. We've done those. That's good news. Okay, so 8s were definitely easier. Let's keep... Should we use the same colour for 8s? Just because we can then ignore them. 8s and 9s can be the same. Right. So we're going to look at 7s, obviously. Do we do the same thing? I think we must, mustn't we? But now we have to include the centres that we were just using. It's a really, really interesting puzzle, this. Very strange, but good play. I'll use yellow this time. Shall I? No, I'll keep with green. It's a strange play on the sort of counting circles idea, but it's a lot of fun. Now, so if how does that work then? Well, that's weird, actually. I was about to say, oh, this is a weird deduction, that if this was a 7, oh no, I'm wrong as well. I'm wrong, but it's led me to something, I think. Hang on. So 7 is a digit that appears in 2 of these boxes, or 2 columns or 2 rows. It appears unlined, but in every other box, say, it has to be lined. So there are still a lot of 7s necessary on the lines. But what I was just thinking about was, I was actually thinking about this box, and then I was thinking about box 5. And that got me thinking about whether I could put a 7 here, and I can't put a 7 here for the most bizarre reason. Because this on transplant would go there. So this digit here actually sees all the odd digits. Because it sees that one, which is in its box, and once it gets transplanted, it sees the others. So that is not actually able to be a 7. Neither is therefore that one. So either one of these is a 7. If one of these is a 7, that's fine. Then neither of those would be a 7. But if neither of these is a 7, then the 2 boxes that don't have 7s are those 2. And we'd have to put a 7 in every other box. Now I wonder if that would make that a 7 in one of those, a 7 in one of these. 7 in one of those. Oh, by palindrome, in fact it would be there. So a 7 there, which is next to the 9, so there'd be a 7 here. there doesn't have to be a circled 7. Oh, the fact that this couldn't be a 7 now because that on the palindrome couldn't be a 7. So there'd be a 7 there, a 7 there. No, yeah, no circled 7 in that box, but that's fine. Oh, hang on, have I got two 7s in column 5 now? So that doesn't work, but I'm not actually sure the logic I just did then was correct. I'm just going to rethink that. Sorry about this. I just want to rethink that through. So what I was claiming is that if neither of these was the circled 7, then this box has no line 7 and this box has no line 7. So every other box must have a line 7. That logic feels right to me. So that has to be a 7. That has to be a 7. And it's broken. It's broken fairly straightforwardly, isn't it? Because now I need to put a 7 on a line down here, which means there is a 7 in one of those two, because these are not the naughty boxes without the line 7s. But I can't have one here, because it would transplant to that position and repeat a 7. So that's not going. And I can't put one here, because that transplants to there, and I've now got 2 7s in column 5. So in fact, one of those is a 7, which means neither of these is a 7, which means they lose their greenification. So now the only place for 7 in column, if it's lined in column 3, is here. And one of these is definitely a 7. I mean, it feels like that must do something, doesn't it? One of these is a 7. So there is going to be another box of the puzzle that doesn't have a 7 on a line. And quite where that is, I'm not sure. Although maybe what we do is we note that if this was a 7, this would be a 7. If this also had to have a 7, then it would be broken. So it is not possible for boxes these boxes to all have circled 7s on them. I don't think. Circled 7s on them, line 7s on them. Because if they did, we would run into problems. Well, hang on, let's just think that through. We would by palindrome run into problems. So one of those 4 boxes doesn't have a line 7. One of these 2 boxes doesn't have a line 7. So the other boxes in the puzzle all have a line 7, which are boxes 1, 4 and 8. So there is a 7 in one of these, which means there is not a 7 in either of those, which means by palindrome there is not a 7 in either of those. There is a 7 in one of these, which is, where's that? That's positions 3 and 4. So 1, 1, 2. So there is a 7 in one of those, I think, by palindrome. Yeah, and that was one of the boxes that had to have a 7, so that makes sense. We could take the 7s out of there, the 7s out of here. We don't know that one of those is a 7, because this might be the box that didn't have to have a 7 in it when we did the logic earlier. But by Sudoku, there is a 7 in one of these, because we've got 7, 7, and we have to put a 7. It might not be a line 7, but we've got to put one into box 7. Now, what does that mean? I bet there's a way of seeing this. I bet there is. I just am not sure where to look. If that was a 7, this would be a 7, because that couldn't be. So we get 7s in those 2, and we get 7 on the palindrome there. all of that is true, I think. But again, I'm not sure I'd know that this was a 7. I would like it to be, but I don't think I know that it is. I mean, okay, it means that can't be a 7, because that would put a 7 in column 5. So box 3 would be the place where there wasn't another 7, as well as box 5. So box 3 and 5 don't have circled 7, so everything else has to have a circled 7. So this would be a 7. One of those would be a 7. Boxes 3 and 5 don't have a circled 7. Now if this was a 7, so one of these would be a 7 by a palindrome of either of these cells. That almost looks possible, doesn't it? I'm not sure. Oh no, hang on, that's on the palindrome, which is the equivalent of that one. Oh, that's still fine. That's still fine. Wow. Okay. Wow, I'm not sure. So that's really tricky, actually. Sorry, I promise I'm trying to solve it. Or maybe do we have to go back to thinking about ones now? Do I know more about what? I know 1 is in one of those 3. I know that is even. Oh, hang on, I hadn't even thought about this. Whoa. I know where that digit goes in this box, I think. That digit, I mean, by palindrome logic, oh my goodness, is this how you're meant to do this? I did not think about this at all. It didn't occur to me that this would be the way to do it. Right, those two digits are the same. Now, where's that digit going in box 6? And it's not going here, because that's going to clash. Once it goes transplanted down the palindrome, it's in the same column as itself. So that digit is that digit. That's just 4. That's just sort of Sudoku-y palindrome-y stuff. Nothing to do with counting. I mean, now actually you can see it's pretty difficult for this to be a 2, because it would be on a line twice, and it could not then appear on a line anywhere else in the puzzle. Oh, okay, hang on. I'm going to get rid of my green for a moment. I'm just going to think about, do I know what this is? I mean, I know it can't be in those cells, so it's not in those cells, it's not there. It can't be here because it would get palindromed. So this digit, yeah, oh no, that doesn't quite work. But that digit, that blue digit, is in one of those cells actually. Because all the other cells get transplanted by palindromes into unpleasant places. If it was here, it would be there. I've got a horrible feeling that what we were meant to do here is to pick, for example, this box is densely palindromed apart from that cell. So was I meant to just colour it and transplant the digits around the world? And the answer to that is I've got no idea. But I'm just going to play with that for a second. So that digit's the same as that digit. Now that digit is clearly not the blue digit, so it is in one of those 3 cells. Is there, can we do any better than that? Where, okay, where's that yeah, that's interesting. That is almost interesting. Where's that digit in box 6? Now it's obviously not in its own row. I don't think it can be there because it gets transplanted into its own column. So it is in one of those 2 cells. Now that places it. See, this is bizarre. That places it in row 5. It's got to be there. Can't be here. It would be in its own column. Oh, bobbins. Right, so this is what you were meant to do, I think. You were meant to start with colouring perhaps this box. So there may be other places we were meant to colour. But this box is doing weird things. If that... oh, well, okay, let's think about these 2 cells. That might be able to be purple. What about that one? That can't be, can it? Am I going mad? It would be there. It would clash. So we can place it. It's got to be there. And then on the palindrome, it's got to be there. This is it's beautiful, but not what I was anticipating at all. Now, no, I was about to apply the logic with the 2s to this. That's such nonsense. But it is on the lines a lot. It's on the line 4 times. So this digit is 4, 5, 6, or 7. I don't know. It can't be 7. It sees one of the 7s. The 7 pencil marks I've put in. So it's 4, 5, or 6. Definitely. That's digits the same. Now, can we go any further with this? Can it be there? The answer to that is it would be there by palindrome. Oh no, hang on, that's in the same column as itself. Oh, wait a sec. Is that just nonsense what I've just said there? If that's there, we've got to go after it would be there. No, that's definitely wrong. Okay, so it is in one of those 2 cells in box 9, which means it's in one of these 2 cells in box 3. We know it can't be here, it can't be there, so it's in one of those 3 cells in box 1. Okay, but it could be that digit, couldn't it? I think. That might be wrong, but I think it might be able to be that digit. So I was trying to see whether or not I could rule it out from being... How could it be 6 now? It can't be 6. It can't get on a line 6 times. It's on a line 4 times. It's not on a line there. It's not on a line there. It's not on a line there. And it's not on a line there. It can't be 6. It's impossible. So it's 4 or 5 now. But I suspect actually what I'm meant to do now is to carry on colouring this box, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. So those 2 are the same. You see, immediately you're sort of running into Sudoku type interesting things. No, what I was supposed to say is such nonsense. I refuse to repeat it. I refuse to enunciate what my brain told me, because my brain was very bad. Naughty brain. Okay, how do we use this green to our advantage? We've got to put green into one of those. The good thing about starting with this box is that you don't have to worry about, okay, you know, repeating digits. I mean, obviously, if we just stay colouring this box, all the digits are demonstrably different from one another. Okay, so if that was green, that would be green. That wouldn't be interesting, would it? If that was green, I don't know, actually. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Sorry, I can't quite see what that's doing. I mean, it's putting green in one of those. Maybe it can't go that one, so it's in one of these 2. Can it go there? If it was here, yes. Oh, no, it couldn't. So it would be there. Okay, so actually maybe that is more interesting then. Yeah, sorry. So let's just think it through like clinically. If this is green and this is green, then green is in one of these three. Now, if it was here, it gets transplanted to where it already lives, so it's not there. If it's here, it gets transplanted to this cell, I think, which is also impossible. So it would be there. So it goes dut, dut, dut. If, on the other hand, it's there, it's clearly there, isn't it? So green is in one of two places, and it is definitely in column 8. I'm not really sure that does much, but it's probably of at least mild interest. Or it might be important for counting how many, the digit that green can be, because I'm now seeing that green could be on a line here, but green, it's definitely appearing in 3 boxes at least where it's not on line, so it's no bigger than 6. So it's definitely not, but we already knew it wasn't 7. But it's on a line twice. Now that's still not quite good enough. Where do we know where it is down here? It can't be there, can it? Because doesn't that transplant here? If it was here, it transplants there, so it's not there. So yeah, green is off the line. It's off the lines in box 8. So now there are 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes at least that don't contain a lined green. So it can't be bigger than 5. It can't be 1. It is at least 2 because it's on the line twice. So it's 2, 3, 4 or 5. See, this is almost getting interesting, isn't it? Almost. It's not quite there, but almost. In fact, in this box, green is in one of those, so it's not lined. It's not, I don't know where it is in this box at all, but it's definitely not lined, so it can't be 5. So the only way it's odd now is if it's 3. And then it would have to appear in a circle, but it could be that one. Yeah, that would be its third, well, or that could be its third appearance. Wow, okay, alright, I'm not sure what to do with that then. Right, so, now do we get, yeah, we might do. It's not, I'm not as hopeful about this, but I'm still going to try it. So let's try this digit, because I think that must transplant. Doesn't it transplant there? Actually, maybe not. Maybe that's not the one. Maybe it's this one, because that's going to transplant there. That actually nearly. It is nearly interesting, because red by Sudoku then in the middle box is in one of those 2 positions, I think. Which means red is in one of those 2 positions in box 2. Now, can it be there? It would then be here. It would then be here. Maybe that's fine. I'm not sure actually. What about red down here? One of those 3. No. Okay, so that's not quite helped me, has it? And I don't think this one's going to be as good, because that one's equivalent is that one. So I think all we'd be learning about this digit, if I did colour it, let's make it yellow for a moment, is it's in one of those 3 cells, and I mean, maybe there's a way of knowing what that means, but I don't think I know how to tell. Oh, Is there something we can do there? Is it something to do with this? I don't know, actually. No, I'm not sure. Right. Golly, I don't know what to do with that. If I was quite hopeful about this box, but I think it's let me down, frankly. I think it's let me down. I don't know what to do with it now. Oh, wait a sec. One thing. One little point. Where's blue in column 5? Is that a good question? That's actually not a terrible question. It's got to appear in column 5. I don't know where it goes, but it's clearly not there anymore, is it? So blue is definitely in these cells, one of which would be right on the end of the palindrome, which would be there, which would put it in one of those two cells, which would put it in this cell exactly. And what's this one? Oh, this is a 2, 4, or a 6. Has it got too big now? 2. It might be fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I think it's the right size. If it was a 6, it would be appropriate. So it probably is a 6, but I don't know how to prove it. I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. That's really quite. That's quite thought-provoking, actually. Do I know? It would be this one, which is the one next to the 9. So it would be this one. So it would be there. It would be there in the corner. I think it would get placed everywhere. And it would appear on lines 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So it would be a 6. But that's only if it's there. If it's here, that would displace a 1. Maybe that's not possible for some reason. That would do a lot of work. That would do a lot of work. I don't know how to. I don't know quite how to visualize this correctly. I mean, this color here, whatever color this is, because these are the same, it is one of the. It's not any of those. It's one of those digits in box 4. But I don't think I know which one. Yeah, so we're still not there, but I don't think we're a million miles away, although I felt like that for a while, actually. What about that digit? This digit here? Is that the way I should have? No, that's a horrible question. Or is there some way I know? Oh my goodness. Okay, that's a weird thing. Yeah, let's have a quick think about this digit. I'm just going to make it black for a moment. Now that digit's clearly the same as itself. Now, where is that digit in this box is the question I want to ask. Because it's clearly not in its own row. It's already in a row with blue and purple, so it's not those. It's not 8 and 9, so it's not those. So it's in one of these, but it can't be red because it's here. So it's there. That is a new digit. And that can't be a 1. Ah, that's it. We've done it. So we had to. I'm sure that there is a better way of doing this. Well, I'm certain there is. But we are actually finding the logic that's hidden in these lines, because now this digit is that one, but it's on a line twice. So there's no way this can be a 1. So this is the only place left for 1 in this box here, which means that we've had 1 as our circle digit. This is the only time that 1 appears on a line. Now that, okay, this is huge, isn't it? But well, there's many things we're having to do here. One of them is let's play Sudoku with the black digit, because that's got to go there in the middle box. Which means that the black digit is... oh, this is great. This is great for us. Because now, where's the black digit in box 2? It can't go there. It would get transplanted to a place where it already lives. So it displaces the red digit. We know that the black digit isn't 1. So this becomes 1 in this box. 1 is not the blue digit. So the blue digit does get up. This is going to do loads, you know. It's going to do loads because now... right, the end digit of the palindrome is blue, which means we've taken 2 as a possibility out of it now. It's now on lines 4 times. So that can't be a 2, 5 times because it's down here now. And that's got to have an equivalent in, is it this box? Yes. So it's now a 6. It is a 6. This is what we thought before. So this is the digit. This digit here is 6 all over the place. And that's next to a 9, which means it's that one that's the 6. Which is great, because now I get to place the 6 here in this box. And that means I get to put 6 in the corner. That's double 3. It deserves a song. Right, and all the 6s just filled in. That's completely weird, but seems to be true. Now, we now got this red digit, which has to be transplanted along that palindrome. So this isn't red. This is the red digit in the middle box. Now, where is the red digit in box 1? Oh, it could be next to the 6, you know. Could the red digit be 7? Is that where we're going with this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, yeah, because the other thing we've got to think about is where is the 7? On the circles, it's in one of these 2 positions, apparently. So, yeah, I think there's a chance red is 7. If red is 7, this would be the last red digit. That would be a red digit. That would be a red digit. That would be a red... yeah, that's working, isn't it? That's working, so it's probably correct, but that's not the same as being logically proved. Okay. Now, do we know more yet about... okay, so we've got this black digit here, which we do know quite a lot about now. Although maybe not quite... oh, well, yeah, the black digit in box 7 is definitely off the line. And it's in one of 2 places in box 1. And that's going to be very important for the following reason. Don't know what that reason is yet. If I could get that... I could get the green digit. I bet this... do I know what this is? Do I have a good idea of it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Purple is 4 or 5, so that could still be purple. Yeah, this... okay. What's... hang on, we've completely coloured this box, so we have to put yellow into it. Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, this is completely coloured, so we can completely colour this box, and that means that yellow is that digit. Now, that surprises me. Because, okay, so how are we getting... which one of these digits now Oh, I see. Is it this one that's going to determine it? Oh, hang on. Have I just made a mistake? Yeah, I think I highlighted this one as being the equivalent of that one. That's total nonsense. It's this one, isn't it? That's good. So this is yellow. That's not yellow now. So what are these two digits? One of them's green, and the other one has to be a colour I've got in here that I haven't shaded in yet. What is it? What cut? Oh, 1. Oh, of course, 1. Oh, well, okay. Well, the 1 must go there then, because that's definitely not 1. Ah, that's easy enough. So that's a 1. That's green. 1 must steer very clear of lines. So that's 1. That's green. Oh, look, this is really doing things. So this is 1, which means, of course, that's green. So green's opportunity has been limited to 3 now, because it's 3, 5 or 7 here and 2, 3 or 4 here, and the only common digit I think is 3, so I think we can write 3 into green, which means that seems to be 5, and 4 is now purple. We're going to have to keep some extraordinary track of what is going on. We never coloured this digit in. That's probably yellow, or I don't know. I'm not sure. Can we keep going with 1 anyway? Let's carry on with 1. 1 has to be off the lines. So 1 gets placed in box 7. 1 has to be off the lines. 1 has to be... no, okay, maybe we can't do all the 1s. But we've done several. Now we got a 3, didn't we, in a circle, and we got a 5 in a circle, so this is a 7. This is the 7 down here after all that. Okay, but I don't know. I know the colour of 7 is yellow or red, but I don't think I still know what it is, and I don't know the colour of this one either. The black digit is definitely not 5 though, because the black digit doesn't appear 5 times on lines, it appears twice. So maybe it is just a 2 for that reason. So what's this digit? That's the same as that digit, which can't be. Yeah, that digit's going to be a 7, I think. Oh, in fact, it is a 7, because do you remember that stretch had to have a 7 in this domino, and I displaced it when I placed the 6. So that's a 7, that's a 7. That actually might, that still might not do it. I mean, it must do. Sorry, I am trying to see what this means and failing. So we're going to have a 7 there, a 7 there, a 7 there. That's 3 7s. A 7 here, a 7 here. That's 5 7s. And either double yellow for 7s or double red for 7s up here. So it's still ambiguous. That's weird. Okay, I don't understand that, but it seems to be true. But let's go back to the black digit. The black digit's definitely only on lines twice, so I think that has to be a 2 wherever it appears, which gives us a few thingies. So these are 5 and 7 now, which is not surprising. 5 7 5 7 5 7 5 7 into all of these funny old cells. And okay. We've managed to do... Oh, we haven't done this column because we've not put 5 into it. So 5 goes here. So this has become a 1-5 pair in this box. Now that means this digit is a 2 by Sudoku. So that's the black digit. One of these is a black digit 2. And these squares we need to put 3 and 4 into these. And somehow that's not resolved. I think it will be. That digit? No. No. Oh, 5. Ah, that 5 is looking at that one. So that's 7. So red is 7. Red is 7. So that's got to be red. Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is a terribly easy puzzle. But I do think it's one of these puzzles that if you happen upon... I think the right way to do it at the start was probably just to colour that box. And that's most certainly not what I did. I tried to find other things with 8s and 9s and then 7s. And I suspect I would have been... I could have got through it a little bit more efficiently if I had started it slightly differently. But I have found this to be it's an incredibly interesting puzzle and really very, very enjoyable to finally, I think, get myself sorted with it. Now let's check. 1, 2. I mean, I must have 7 7s on thingies. I just must. Now this column needs a 4, so we can put that in. Therefore, this has become a 3, look. So that's 3, that's 4, that's 4. Still a chance of a 3 in the corner in one of those two. But no. Oh, no, hang on. We must get a 3 in the corner. That's the implication of that. In fact, that's going to be a 2. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. These two squares are a 1 and a 2. We can do that. Puts 1 over here. That digit's a 4. That digit's a something. 2 again. I mean, my colouring is oh, I've finished. Oh no, I haven't quite finished. The colouring has gone absolutely skew-if, hasn't it? But what we could do is this. No, this will cause outrage if I do it. I was thinking of doing that. Is that outrageous? No, I mean, it's a nice way to finish. We can see everything a bit more clearly. Let's see if it's correct. Yeah, it's correct. Absolutely brilliant. It's been out for about a month, actually. Really enjoyed it. Very interesting. Hard to know exactly how to tackle it. I think there's some lovely ideas here. The central circles having to be odd. I really like that as an idea. I love the idea of trying to position all the digits the right number of times on the lines. What I'm unsure about is whether there was a way I could have done it more efficiently. And it might be I was meant to colour this box. You guys let me know in the comments how you got on with the puzzle. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and especially when they give Jolly Rogers an awful lot of praise for a brilliant idea, very well executed. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.